this format where you take a band that you like or a band you don't like, and you go through every single album and you pick every single track off that album that you think's your favourite one or your worst one. I do really love this format. It's worked here on the channel. I believe it was who invented this. I think it was Martin Popoff invented this. So I'm going to still give him the credit here. Scott Lard or lady or whatever it is over at the Prog Corner. He's been doing a lot of these, and I like dipping into them. Saves you having to try and think up some ideas for a video, doesn't it? So this is where we're at, and I think with all the talk about Rush and the fact that a lot of Rush fans have watched my video about them, their sort of comeback, the algorithm probably is conducive to a bit more Rush content. So I'm going to be doing quite a lot of Rush content, I think. And I want to, because myself, doing all this talk about Rush, and then I love them. And because I was researching them, it comes up on my YouTube feed. So I start watching some of the tracks or listening to some of the tracks. I love Rush so much. I love them so much. I've forgotten how much I love them. I love them. And then I think, why do I love them? And then I think, well, I want to try and explain to the audience why I love them so much. So the people who love them like me will go, yeah, Andy's right. He made me feel all warm and cosy with his love of Rush and the way he's described it. And then well, I don't get Rush. But Andy is explaining it. Maybe I could approach Rush with a different set of ears, but I don't want to do that because I'm stuck in my ways. All these things are quite interesting to me. So, I thought, why don't you go through every single Rush album and pick your favourite track off those albums? Well, the problem is I absolutely love Rush, but I stopped listening to them after Power Windows. I got all the albums up to Power Windows, and when Hold Your Fire came out, Hold Your Fire, my nose went funny then. Hold Your Fire came out, I was like, ooh, I ain't going to bother to get that. And then Presto came out, and then, they were all rubbish albums. Didn't bother with them. Now, I know there's some point Vapor Trails, Clockwork Angels, somewhere around there, Test for Echo. I've heard these albums. I've even gone and ranked the albums and listened to them all for this channel. But there's nothing there that really sticks in my mind. I don't know what it is. And I can hear the magic for me drain away on Signals, Grace Under Pressure, Power Windows. It just drains out of the band. Right? Now that probably deserves a video all unto itself. I mean, it could have been the 1980s that did it. It could have been me. Rush opened doors to music, but by the time I got to Power Windows, I was listening to John Coltrane and, Miles Davis and Shostakovich. I wasn't listening to Shostakovich, I was just being pretentious. But I was listening to Bartok and people like that and Philip Glass. And, maybe Rush are this sort of intermediate band. They're not, because last night I had the headphones on and I was away. I still love them. There's something in there. I'm going to try and get it across on this video for you. So I thought, well, I like a top 10. Let's pick the best track off every single album and let's create a top 10. Now that's not what actually happened, you see. What actually happened was I thought, why don't you just do your top 10 favourite Rush songs? And what I found is that I could almost it's a terrible thing to say, Permanent Waves and Moving Pictures, I could almost get 8 of them off that. And then I'm a bit miffed because I can't get so much off Hemispheres and Farewell to Kings, but those are the albums for me. And then I have a soft spot for the early albums as well, especially Fly By Night and Caress of Steel. And Caress of Steel is continually coming up in my estimation. I loved it when I was a kid, but then everyone said it wasn't that good and it was a bit of a failure before 2112, but it's not. And so that's another thing you want to get in there. So I thought, I can't do this top 10 because it's just going to be like side one of Moving Pictures. All 4 of those need to go in my top 10. And then side one of bloody Permanent Waves. So then we've got 7 tunes. I've only got 3 left. It's just going to be boring. I can't do this, So I decided to sort of bring these whole things together. The title won't say that because you'll get confused. So this will be called The Best Song Off Every Rush Album, but actually it's the 10 best, which happens to be off the first 10 albums. Right, do you care really? Do you really want to know what I think is the best song on Test for Echo? Do you really want to know that? Or shall we get to where the bloody glory is? You know, where's the glory? When Rush do come back, if you've got a ticket, I went to buy a ticket the other day and I went, nah, I can't do it. Here I am, YouTube, talking about it. Everyone's coming to the thing. Oh, I'm so excited, Andy, I got my ticket. And I thought, well, I don't want to go on my own, so I don't want to sit at the back of something, you know. That's going to be 400 quid before we get through it. And I thought, no, I need to be up the front. Now, I ain't spending 1,000 quid to go and see Rush. Have I seen Rush live? Yep, I have. I've not only seen Rush live, but I got taken... is it Howard Underliger or whatever his name? You know, the lighting guy, hooked up with him. He took us backstage and he took us onto the stage just before the gig, before all the audience came in. I sat on Neil Peart's kit. I stood behind Alex Lifeson's little section. I stood behind Geddy Lee's thing and I walked around on the stage like I couldn't believe where I was. I couldn't believe which tour was that, 2008, I would say. It was in Montreal. Yeah, I was up on the stage just before the gig started. I saw Alex's row of Barbie dolls all lined up in front of his guitar pedals. I thought the audience, I don't think they can see that, but it's all there, right? So, no, I can't be spending 1,000 quid to see him, and I do want to see him. You know, I do want to see him. But I'll have to live vicariously through you lot. So you'll have to go and see it and then come back. And then I'll have to try and do a video on it, even though I wasn't there. Maybe I should go. I don't know. Why don't I want to go? This is all the real meat and potatoes of this at the moment. This year is going to be the year of Rush. Rush is going to be a big deal. Forget Oasis coming back and all that. And even Black Sabbath, that was one thing. But this is bloody Rush. They're coming back. They're coming back. Everybody, they're coming back. Right? So what I'm going to do is, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to go from, it's going to be a top 10. I am going to go from 10 to 1, ranking these songs in terms of greatness. And on each one, it will be my favourite of whatever album it happens to be. Right? This is quite a complex thing. As I start, you will get it. So I won't be going through the albums in order. I will be going through this in the order of tunes that I really love off each album, ranked from I really love them to I really, really love them. Andy, this is so complex. Why have you made it so complex? But you're Rush fans. And so you're going to be loving the complexity. Andy, we're with you. Don't worry. I've made a note and I've got a chart with me right now. So what you're saying, to put it simply, is that you are going to go through the first 10 Rush albums because you've decided those are the best albums, which is your choice. It's fair enough. I have a soft spot for Vapor Trails, but that's no problem. It's your channel. And so you're going to go through the first 10 albums and you're going to pick off your favourite track off each album, explain why, but you're also going to arrange them in a ranking order of greatness in themselves. I actually find this quite exciting because there's two levels of ranking going on. There's the ranking of each track off each album, and then there's the organisation of each of one of those into an ever-evolving hierarchy from very good to very, very good. It seems quite simple to me. Thank you, Rush fan. You explained it far better than I could have, and I'm going to remember this. Is if I ever want to be articulate and explain something that's complex again, just imagine I'm a Rush fan and it just all comes together. It's interesting, that one is, isn't it? So shall we get right into this? Because I've done nearly 10 minutes on this. But you know that I get excited about Rush. I always do. I get a rush when I talk about Rush. And part of the enjoyment of this, especially with all the bloody Rush videos that everyone else is doing at the moment, all the other YouTubers are doing it. So I have to outdo them, you see. I have to outdo them so I can go and go, yeah, I should be here because all the rest of them have not done anything as good as me. Right? I have brought all the bloody YouTube skills out that I have. All of them. To entertain the audience. I'm bloody fancy editing. I'm not doing anything like that. You know, all I'm doing is through the power of oratory. Through the power of my oratory, I am communicating to you how much I bloody love Rush. Right? There's no criticism here. Right? If I take the mickey out of them, if I take the mickey out of Rush, why am I taking the mickey out of them? I tell you why I am. Because I love them so much, because that's part of the aspect of them. The great dialectic of seriousness and fun, they embody. The great dialectic of sort of clunky rock metal riff, you know, duncy heavy metal fans that don't know anything, and then highly sophisticated music. They do both of those as well. I love them. They represent true greatness to me, Rush do. Right? There's a lack of pretension, unlike everybody says. These are all the things you've got to remember as we get onto this. So, at number 10 on my list of the 10 greatest songs off each album, if you only include the first 10 albums list that I've got here. Gandhi, sounds like you're scraping the barrel. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of Rush videos. You wait till we get close to the tour and everybody's talking about it. I'll be doing all sorts of things, I really will. Scrape the barrel, best haircuts, the best haircuts. The evolution of Neil Peart's moustache through the 1970s. Why did it go in the 1980s? All these sorts of videos. And I know the Rush fans are going, I quite would like to watch that one about the moustaches. Do you think Andy would get it right, though? I mean, it would need. I have it. If any Rush fans have got a catalogue of all Neil Peart's moustaches and they've done the work, send it to me. I'll do the video. I'll credit you for it. Let's get it down. Let's see what was going on with that moustache, because no one's tracked it through. I've always had the theory that, once he got rid of that moustache, it was downhill from there. He was like that fella, wasn't he? Not Goliath, not David and Goliath, the other one, Samson. The power of Rush was in that moustache, wasn't it? Really? Did he have that moustache when he joined in 74? It's all questions we need to know. That's a better video than this one. I should have done that now. Come up with a better one here. Anyway, there's no worry here. And also, I might bring a bit of theatrics in, because over here, just that camera view, and we haven't seen him for a while. I've got. There's a lot of characters on my channel. I like to get, because when I did that Rush fan character, you change when you imagine yourself to be something else. And I've just noticed I've got the wig of Barry Muggle. Now, Barry Muggle is my progressive rock fan character. Barry Muggle is. We haven't seen him for a while, so I might get Barry to do a little, talk on each track as well. Shall we do that? You all ready for this now? It's going to be an epic one, this is. We're in 15 minutes, we haven't even started. Right, so at number 10, obviously, the 10th album by Rush is Grace Under Pressure. That's their 10th album. And of course, that's going to occupy the bottom spot. And so I went back to that album, which is quite lucky because Terry Brown's done a remix of it. Terry Brown, when he sort of split after Singles, that was something. I like Terry Brown's production. I like his mixes, and then suddenly Rush didn't sound like Rush anymore, did they? On Grace Under Pressure, So Terry Brown's come in, and he has used his expertise to obviously turn Rush up on guitar, bass and drums and take the reverb off. Because that's all that's happened. Everyone's analysing it, online. I can see some clarity there. It's very good to hear the guitars at this point. Alex was doing more. All that's going on. Yeah, he's taken the reverb off and he's turned the guitars up, the drums up. That's what he's done. Right? I would have taken the keyboards off altogether. I wonder what that would sound like. Well, that would be good, wouldn't it? Yeah, of course it would be bloody good. But the trouble is with Grace Under Pressure, I went back to it the other night, is the keyboard parts are so featured at this point, and they sound like they're trying to chase an 80s pop sound. They never did this in the 70s. Did the label come along and say, we can't have any of this bloody sword and sorcery nonsense, Neil, moustache has got to go. Come on, we need something that sounds more poppy, go on. This Broken Wings, Mr. Go and have a listen to it. Although I don't think that was out at this point, but you know what I'm saying. So I went back to the album again, and I've got to be honest, it was worse than what I remembered. Back in 1983 or whatever it was, 4, when this album came out, I was such a Rush fan still that I really want to like it, and I listened to it over and over again, and I quite liked it. I put it on the other night, and the only track I like on that album is called Between the Wheels. This is bombastic. It's got some great guitar playing. It's riffy. With Terry Brown's, new remix, whatever you want to call it, it's sounding great. Sounds like a Rush track. It's great. That's it. That's the one I've got, Between the Wheels. Barry, do you want to come on?
Yeah, of course I do. Can I just be going to budge over there, Andy, and I can just take the seating position here. So yeah, Grace Under Pressure is really the line where we can see there's the old Rush, the progressive rock Rush, the Rush we all know and love. But with Grace Under Pressure, there was a shift and a change, and it would then herald a sort of, how can you describe this? A new chapter in their career, which would include the albums then Power Windows, Hold Your Fire. Now, for some people, they felt that Presto was a return to form. But of course, us progressive rock fans, I have to say, I really see these albums as being a very low point in the career of Rush. Is there anybody out here that would say this is their favourite period of Rush? I don't think so. No, I think they had lost their way at this point, too influenced as they were by contemporary trends. I mean, many of the tracks on here sound like bloody Men at Work from Australia, doesn't it? And I don't like that at all. You know, around about this time, I was listening to Palace, and I felt that they were doing a much better job of representing decent music at that time, not Rush. That's all I'm going to say. Andy, I'll pass it back to you. Thank you, Barry. That was brilliant. See, we need Barry, don't we? I'm glad he's here. Right, so... Now, this is the biggest shock. The album before this, Signals, I loved, because in 1982, that was Rush was my favourite band. And Signals came out, put it on Subdivisions, was really great. You know, the first track's great. They had that Digital Man. They had all those tracks on that side one. They were all amazing, I thought. And I put it on last night to go through it all again. And there was one tune that blew me away back in 1982. I won't tell you which one because it's the one that's come out here. But I went back to this going, well, no, it's going to be like Subdivisions or maybe Early Warning, or there's that big one, Countdown at the end, or whatever it is. There, I remember those as big, great songs. Well, I'll tell you what, I put this album on. Subdivisions is really good. I still like that tune. But things like Digital Man and a lot of stuff on side one, they start off amazing. And then they don't really go, sort of just like lie there, just being not Rush. The tune I love on it, I still love on this, and it sounds like Rush to me. It's in an odd time signature, it's got lots of parts. Is the tune Losing It? And I've decided to make that one at my number 9 is Losing It, and it is one of my favourite Rush tunes. There's a violin solo on there. They get into this sort of 7 groove. It's almost like the Mahavishnu Orchestra, and it's dark, and Neil Peart at the time seemed like an old man, you know, when I bought that album and I was like 14 years old, and he was going, oh, you know, I'm getting old now, I'm 30, and I can feel, you know, all my skills going, and now I'm getting... It's like, it seems ridiculous that this 30-year-old was writing a tune like this, but it's just got power. It's the best one on that, you know. What do you want to say anything about Signals, Barry? Come on, you can sit there. And I appreciate you turning up with the same outfit as me. Well, I like things to be homogenous, Andy, as you know, and I don't like to be clashing with anybody. And I don't want to clash with anybody watching this right now. But what I found with Signals is that what we had here was Rush. We didn't realise it at the time, but they were sort of betwixt two posts, weren't they? Between a rock and a hard place. And what was that rock? It was progressive rock. I think we'll all agree that Moving Pictures is dripping with progressive rock virtuosity, complex time signatures, weird epic-y things. It's still there. With Signals, that aspect has gone. And what has it been replaced with? Well, not much, really. A sort of a want to copy the Police, perhaps. But we still have the sound of Rush here, which we don't have with Grace Under Pressure. I think that's the best way to describe it. I did appreciate the album artwork, though, on this. I thought it was a very interesting conceptual album cover with the dog sniffing the fire hydrant. I thought that's obviously
that's a signal to a dog, isn't it? To have a wee wee, and so I thought that was quite clever that they would use a pun, because I always enjoy an album cover with a pun, and it's very progressive rock, isn't it? To have like Grace Under Pressure, and then have, say, like an egg in a vice or something like that. You would have, or maybe if you had moving pictures, you'd have someone actually moving some pictures. I like that, and I think there's some point where Rush left the sort of pun album cover. They left it. I mean, with Grace Under Pressure, it was hinted at. But Power Windows, I mean, they were just Power Windows, weren't they? And anyway, that's what I think. I will pass it back to Andy for you. Andy, do you want to come and grab this? I should have been with you, shouldn't I? Yeah, I know. But Barry, that's really difficult to do because you are actually me doing an impersonation. Is that really the case, is it? Yes, it is, So, where are we now? So we're now at number 8. And now we're going to diddle all the way back to the first album. Rush, the first album? I love the first album. Right, off the top of my head, what the hell's on that? Finding My Way, the track they opened up with the other day. That's a good track, isn't it? There's a couple of sexy tunes on here, as I've said before. Need Some Love, I think it's called, something like that. And a few other ones, I can't remember what they are. What are the high points for me? Well, for me, the high points would be What You're Doing. Now, What You're Doing is just a riff and a half. Now, I'll tell you something about Rush. Okay? This is the other thing. All of these albums, they got an aspect about them which they do lose in the 1980s. Led Zeppelin, Riffmeisters. Deep Purple, Riffmeisters. Black Sabbath, Riffmeisters. Rush, Riffmeisters. They're killer Riffmeisters. Right, they're up there with everybody else. They might be making all these esoteric prog stuff and songs about bloody totalitarian, futuristic bloody priests messing around, not letting you play guitar. They might be doing all that stuff, which seems intellectual when you're 14 years old. Doesn't seem that intellectual when you're nearly 58, but that's by the by. But one thing that you can't deny is their ability to bloody riff. They can riff. Now, I'm having a bit of an Aerosmith thing at the moment, so I've been listening to Aerosmith, and they can riff. They can riff, but not like Rush. Right? That's the bottom line. I want the riffs. I'm coming, Aerosmith, give us a riff. I know you can do it. Give us a riff. Come on, you can do it. Come on. And they do every now and then. Rush, how many good riffs have they given us? Maybe that's another video I could do, is the best riffs of Rush. What You're Doing, bow, 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 and they follow the rule of Rush. They don't sing the rule of riffs, sorry. The rule of riffs is that if you've got a good riff, don't even bloody sing on it. You don't want to sing on it. Don't sing on it. We've got a good riff here. Should I sing on it? No, don't sing on it. Just leave it. And then when you get to the verse, I see you standing there with your finger in the air. And what you gonna do? This is another sexy song, actually. People don't realise how much sexy songs there is. What you doing? What you doing, lady? It's a bit one of those another Geddy Lee bloody chat up ones, isn't it? He always trying to me was at this point in time. And with that echo on his voice and the guitar, and like the Jimi Hendrix thing, and the big I'm gonna do, and I have to get down. Absolutely amazing. Before and after, a little bit of prog here, a bit of prog before and after. Before, acoustic, guitars all nice and tasty and all that bit. After, some solid riffing, not quite in the realm of What You're Doing. That's bloody. When I was a kid, I think that was my favourite tune, was Before and After. But I went through them all the last night again. I had to listen through. It is Working Man. Working Man is just amazing. Now, I'll tell you something about it, is that Geddy's vocals are a little bit hysterical on this first album, as we know. Working Man, they're not. And they're double tracked. They didn't do that much with Geddy's vocals, I don't think, but they're double tracked. And so we get, they call me the working man. I guess that's what I am. Now, the other thing with Working Man is it's 7 minutes long. If they'd just stuck on, say, an acoustic guitar bit at the beginning, it could have been 9-10 minutes longer. We'd go, and this is the beginning of the epic. It is a bit of an epic. Working Man, I have at number 8. Barry, what do you want to say about it? Oh, I'm so glad I can wax lyrical, because there's a couple of points I think you've missed out
Mr. Edwards, on your appraisal. If I could just take your seat again. Yes, it's. I think that one of the problems with this album is obviously the main one is the fact it's not got Neil Peart on, has it? It's got John Rutsey on it, and although he does a very he does a workmanlike job, I would say. I mean, there's some drum parts I think are quite creative on here. But of course, once they went out on tour, he went out on tour with them and he wasn't very well because he had the old diabetes, I believe. And he said, I can't do it, chaps. I don't know what you want me to do. And I said, well, we're going to have to go and get somebody else, aren't we? And they did. They got Neil Peart in and that changed it all. Now, I've often wondered, listening to this, when you listen to things like Before and After and Working Man, whether the prog was already there. Did they already want to do it? Was it Neil that brings all this in? Who knows? Would they have gone down that route? Maybe they would have ditched John Rutsey anyway when they realised he wasn't good enough to play in like 11/8, you know, and all that type of thing. But it's a very interesting album. Surprisingly, for an album that is unlike the rest of the catalogue and has got a different lineup, it is quite beloved amongst Rush fans. And as Andy has shown you, he's put it in at number 8. And I think Working Man is a very strong track from Rush. And I think he's right in what he said. So Andy, I'll pass it back to you. Thank you, Barry. That was very good. Oh, so I keep getting involved in it, so I keep tidying up, you know, and get in the corner, you know, over there, and he's talking away. I should just leave him. Should have left him to do this one, shouldn't I, really? Because he knows so much more about Rush than I do. You know, every time he brings in his knowledge, there's a lot more knowledge there. Mine's just silliness, isn't it? So, at number 7, I'm going to go back to Caress of Steel. And Caress of Steel has got the incredible Bastille Day. That nearly made it. Especially those drum fills. I love what they do with all those drum fills. It's like they doubled up with something that sounds incredible. And the riff. That's amazing. And the thing is, you go and listen to Yes and Genesis, but they never do that double time like bloody Motorhead. Sounds like new wave of British heavy metal, does it? It's bloody ahead of their time, weren't they, bloody Rush? No one gives them the credit for what they're doing. What you're doing, no one gives them the credit for it. So anyway, that's amazing. There's a couple of other ones on there. I think I'm Going Bald. That's all that bit, isn't there? Is that on this album? Can't remember. I went and listened to Fountains of Lambeth. I've got to be honest, that opening and all the jazzy bits in there and a bit of the acoustic guitar, I think it's better than 2112, but the trouble I don't like about Fountains of Lambeth is it's not really a sidelong epic. It stops. There's gaps. They could have named it like, I think, 1, 2. It's basically the first track, and then these 2 little bits in the middle, 2 or 3 bits in the middle, and then they go back in and do the first track again. In that, and they think that makes that a sidelong epic, but they got gaps. I don't know what. Barry, I mean, Barry, what do you think about Fountains of Lambeth? I'm with you 100%, Andy. I will mention this when we get there. Yeah, it's not. I don't know, but the music and the jazziness, the lightness, compared with the heavy, I love it. I think it's better than anything on 2112 musically. Although we'll get to that in a minute because obviously I have rated that higher than what I've got at number 7, which is the Necromancer, which is unbloody believable. You know, it's got all that drony stuff. The thing with Caress of Steel is so trippy. Rush can be trippy. They got to touch the Hawkwind about them if they want it. What do you think, Barry? Do you want to come and finish this one off? Tell them about the Necromancer, because this is right in your... it's right up your alley, isn't it? I do believe this is the case, Andy. It is right up my alley. The Necromancer. What a piece of music. How can I describe the genius of this track? Right, it's nearly 10 minutes long. I think it's about 13 minutes long, actually. 13 minutes, I would say, which makes it almost like a side-long epic, really. It's quite a piece of work. Starts off with all these sorts of almost like Hawkwind gong drones. And then we have that voice, don't we? Where we get this voice going.
Oh, praise the Willendale and working hard. You know, I always like that bit. There's a bit of narration in there. You know, it's always good on a prog epic to have a bit of narration because it lays the groundwork. There's a lot of songwriting there, but for me, they sort of explore an area of music that is one of my favourite things with Rush, which is where they have the sort of broken up riff. The riff that sort of forms itself like Hellraiser coming out from the floorboards of wherever Hellraiser came out of in the film Hellraiser. Yes, put myself off now with the Hellraiser reference, but you know what I'm saying. And it forms itself, a bit like they do with the riff in Cygnus X1. But I feel that Necro has even more bite, and the way that sort of once the guitar solos come in, you just feel like you're in the room with Rush, and they're just playing incredible space. Then Alex Lifeson's incredible use of delays. I mean, they did this to some extent on Bytor and the Snow Dog, telling a story through the guitar solo, something that they eschewed on 2112 to a certain extent. Anyway, Necromancer, absolutely high point for yes. I think Andy's right to have put it here, maybe a little bit higher. We'll see what he's got coming up. Anyway, hand it back over to you, Andy. Right, thank you, Barry. Oh, do we have to keep doing this all the way through the video? It was funny to start off with, now it's becoming tiresome. Don't over-egg it, Barry. Barry, I think you've done your bit now. And there's some people who'll be sorry to see you go. Come on, I'll show you to the door. You go home. You go home. Because I know you just bought that Solstice album. And there's no way I can't say goodbye to them. Go on then, quickly. Thank you all for your, and if you want me on with some actual facts and not all the silliness that Andy's sort of thing he needs to do all the time, if you feel that you want that, then put it in the comments and I'll try and become on. Thank you. Cheerio. All right, matey. See you, Andy. I'll come back anyway. Oh, go away. Bye-bye. Oh, it's good to have Barry. I haven't had him for a while, have we? But I think it's going to make this video go on for a while, and I don't know. He was doing too good of a job, really. That was the problem with Barry then. We're at 30 minutes. You know, my video's like an hour long. They're bloody long, my videos are, aren't they? Why do you sit through them all? Most people don't when you look at the old analytics. They're about the 15-minute mark. Most people are gone. But it works. That's what it is. You hardcore ones who are in it now for the long run, I do appreciate you being here. So what have I got at number 6? I have got the album Fly By Night, right? Now, Fly By Night is like, it's got the rockiness of the first album. It's got some of the progginess of Caress of Steel. It's got it, and it packs a punch. Neil Peart's in the band. He's like going, right, I'm here now. Beneath, between, behind, Bytor and the Snow Dog. That side one he does give it a good old kick up the arse. But Anthem has always been one of my favourite Rush tunes. It's incredible. Neil just tumbles in. He's all over it. It's just incredible. And Anthem seems to, in that one track, you go, oh my God, this is the difference now. Neil Peart's writing the lyrics, the subject matter's gone up, the tightness of the band gone up, it's more fiery, it's more out of control. Rush really, they're not a prog band in that they bloody rock. I can't think of anyone else that is like this. Rainbow Rising, perhaps? That rocks and has got proggy overtones. They invented something here, didn't they? Rush did. They invented something here that was going to have ramifications for bands like bloody UFO and Iron Maiden and Def Leppard and a whole bunch of bands, really. And they don't get credit for it. So that's what I've got. Number 6 is Anthem. Right, at number 5, I've got a track from 2112. Now, I think that 2112 is not as strong as everybody says, and I've taken the mickey out of it a little bit. I find the epic is, I don't know, Bytor and the Snow Dog, even Fountains of Lamneth, even bloody Necromancer, all the bits of those I enjoy. I find the middle bit of 2112 quite tedious, to be honest, and I'm not interested with it. The ending's good and the start's good. On side 2, Passage to Bangkok is a middling Rush tune to me, and the rest of them are like filler. There's nothing to be like
Anthem or Bastille Day, any of these tunes that we find on the earlier albums. There's nothing on that level. Some nice tunes there, and I enjoy them, but not top ranking Rush. And then we have 2112. Now, I did a thing the other day where I said that I went through the worst songs on the Rush albums, if you remember, and I picked 2112. And I said the only reason why people like it is because of the overture of... and the overture's bloody incredible. So what I'm going to do here is be a little bit of a cheater, and I'm going to say 2112 is the worst and the best, because I think, and I put it quite high, it's at number 5. The overture by Rush off 2112 defines who Rush is. I keep saying it defines who Rush are. Do you remember when poor old Taylor Hawkins died? Everyone turned up to do the tribute, didn't they? We're all sat there. Everyone's there. Taylor Hawkins died. Then Rush came out. And they played the overture, didn't they? I think Dave Grohl was drumming on it, perhaps. And when they did it, I felt proud. And I thought, yeah, Taylor Hawkins died, but this has now turned into a tribute to Neil Peart. And everybody in that bloody stadium who really knows what they're talking about is sat there going, oh my God, Rush are back, and they're doing the overture of 2112. And for that Rush are huge. And there's an army of Rush fans, and we are what we are. And it's the music, it's so profound. And Neil Peart's lyrics are so interesting, and a lot of the philosophy that I expound on here probably started as a young guy of me getting into Rush, and yet the mainstream want to make out that it's all a little bit childish. It's all a bit like incel. It's all a little bit Andrew Tate, which it is. It does. It attracts a sort of nerdier type of person. Who do you want? Influencing your teenage boys, Andrew Tate or Neil Peart. You want Neil Peart, don't you? He was a proper hero to us boys. That's why I turned out so well, because of Neil. This is a powerful thing. And the overture of 2112, that is like, if you wanted to play a track by Rush to win somebody over, you wouldn't play them this one. Because it's just all the things that they hate. Doesn't it? Right, so we get up to the top 4 now. So at number 4... from Farewell to Kings, I think Farewell to Kings has got some incredible tracks on there. The track Farewell to Kings, I absolutely love. It's a top-notch Rush track. No one ever really mentions it, even though it's the title track of the album. It does everything that Rush does. It's unbelievable. It's like an upgrade from 2112. If you've got what Rush on 2112 and then you go to Farewell to Kings, and suddenly the sound pattern is just expanded, the virtuosity is expanded. Farewell to Kings is incredible. Cygnus X1, the middle bit is unbelievable. It's one of Rush's finest moments, especially the stop-start riff bit, but there's other bits in there that are a little bit too cheesy. Close to the Heart is a great pop song, absolutely brilliant. Madrigal, that's all right. Cinderella Man, is that the other one? They're all good. Xanadu, for me, is where they arrive in terms of epics. Xanadu is almost perfect, not just for Rush, but for prog epics. It's a long tune. It's not quite a side long, but on it, I feel that Rush continually create that through composed epic. I don't think Rush were quite able to get up to the 20-minute marks with their epics. I think they burn out. But 10, 15 minutes they could handle, and they got better at it. And for me, Xanadu is quite profound. It's like, it really is incredible. And of course, recorded just down the road from here at Rockfield in the border between England and Wales. And they played this live in the room, and it's an incredible achievement. And it's an absolutely high point. Now, it's all Kubla Khan and all that type of stuff, but it tells that fairy story to really talk about something more profound, which is the search for immortality and how that refers to us as modern people. It's an incredible piece of music, So, yeah, Xanadu I've got at number 4 on my list. At number 3, we can see that I'm honing in on these albums, aren't I? So, at number 3, I've got... Permanent Waves, obviously, is the album I'm now picking from. You would think it'd be Hemispheres. But Permanent Waves, Spirit of the Radio. I mean, Spirit of the Radio is like Rush. If you look at what Rush do, and then you take it all, but then put it into a commercial package without sacrificing anything that Rush do, Spirit of the Radio does that. Absolutely incredible. Free will, philosophy and rock together. It just kills. It's incredible. You flip it over onto side 2, you got a little bit of Philly with Entre Nous and tracks like that. But we do have the incredible Tide Pools. What's it called? Can't remember the actual epic at the end of that one, which I feel is like 3 songs sort of spliced together. Great though they are. But for me, there's an even greater epic than Xanadu on Permanent Waves. And it's Jacob's Ladder. Now, Jacob's Ladder is the last true prog epic from Rush. We do have Camerai on Tom Sawyer, but Camerai is just basically a long song in 2 halves. There's a little bit of arrangement, but it's basically just a long song. Jacob's Ladder sits there, and I think if we look at Rush as being a progressive rock band, and we want to say, when in this thing did they really nail it in one track? What's absolutely profound is Jacob's Ladder. And of course, this Brad Meldau's done a whole album, the great jazz pianist has done a whole album, which really goes into this tune. This is really profound rock music, really profound. And whatever Rush do is really embodied in Jacob's Ladder. I almost want to say Jacob's Ladder could be their finest moment. But I put a couple of tracks above it, and I'll tell you why. But this, we really are talking about some of the greatest music ever made. There is something in the middle of that tune that Rush lock onto something so emotional to me. It's so dark. There's a darkness there that I've only heard in King Crimson, Coltrane, some Miles Davis, the Mahavishnu Orchestra, and Rush have it in Jacob's Ladder. Incredible. Right, so what have I got at number 2? Well, I'm surprised at this. When I first pulled this together, I thought, well, Hemispheres is going to be pretty high because it's pretty incredible. It's them at their prog peak. Not just in terms of how proggy this is, but also in terms of them as being a prog band. They are at their virtuoso peak. This is where they overreach themselves. After this point, Rush start to draw themselves in. They find the limit of what they can do as a group, or what any group could do. I would love to see any group try and pull the sidelong Hemispheres off. It's an incredible achievement, technically. On side 2, The Trees is incredible. Circumstances incredible, and La Villa Strangiata could well be the greatest rock instrumental. It's only to be sort of challenged by perhaps, I don't know, why have I said it's going to be one of the 2, isn't it? We really are in the zone of the profound here. With these 3 albums, Rush, Hemispheres, Permanent Waves and Moving Pictures, these are, for me, almost perfect albums. And Hemispheres, where's the bloody equivalent of Entre Nous? On Permanent Waves we've got Entre Nous, which is okay, it's a good tune, but it's not quite at the same level. Pulls the whole thing down. On Moving Pictures there isn't one. Every track is incredibly strong. Here, for me, the bit where it just sags a little bit is actually Hemispheres, or whatever it's called, the great big long Cygnus X1 Part 2 Hemispheres, whatever it's called, the big sidelong epic. But I have to say again, like Fountains of Lamneth, like 2112, the opening, the prelude and into the first bit of the song, I think Rush as a band are at their peak at that point. And part of the reason is because they've become so good at being Rush that rather than try and throw everything at us like they do with the overture to 2112, which even has a little bit of them doing in the 1812 overture, doesn't it? They throw everything at us. Here, this is clean and sleek and actually minimal. And it has a much more sort of futuristic aspect to it. It's just very artistic, They have crashes, but it's just one crash. Bang, bang. And then when they go into the complexity is so complex. It's not just we're clever. It really is tripping you up. You go, I don't know where I am at the beginning of this. The rhythms are really strange. What's going on, you know? And it's got that sort of arpeggiated darkness that I hear in Jacob's Ladder. I think that Prelude is their finest moment instrumentally. Stronger than a Villa Stradiato, which is incredible. Stronger than YYZ even. It's just got an abstract beauty to it that's incredible. So what have I got at number one on this list? Well, at number one, we end up with Moving Pictures. And you know what I wanted to do? And I am going to do it. I am going to offer up every single track off Moving Pictures at number one. Yes! You can't do that, Andy. I can do what I bloody like. Rush fans, no, I don't like it. You've got to pick one. I'm not picking one. Which one am I going to pick? Tom Sawyer, amazing. Red Barchetta, amazing. YYZ, amazing. Limelight, amazing. 4 of the greatest Rush tunes ever made. Flip It Over, Camera Eye. They go beyond. They take that minimalism that we've got the Prelude, the Hemispheres, and they just stretch it out. It's not an epic. It's not an epic. It's more like James Joyce. It's more like just a blinking of an eye. Frozen. Witch Hunt. Dark. Scary. Frightening. And making a political point that I feel is so important today to listen to. Listen to the point they're making. And then Vital Signs. They actually, on Vital Signs, bring all the reggae and all the electronics, and they do better than they did on bloody Signals, ever better than they did on Grace Under Pressure. Why couldn't they have kept that stripped down sound and gone into the bloody 1980s with that? Every track on there hits hard. You want me to pick one, don't you? Which one am I going to pick? Well, I'll tell you which one I'm going to pick if I'm going to pick one. Which one I'm going to tell you? I'm going to tell you which one I'm going to pick if I'm going to pick one. You know which one I'm going to pick? I'm going to tell you which one I'm going to pick if I'm going to pick one. If I'm going to pick one, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you which one I'm going to pick if I'm going to pick one, because now's the time where I should tell you. If I'm going to pick one, I'm going to pick one right now. If I'm going to pick one, if there's a tune off Moving Pictures, I'm going to pick. If there's one tune I was going to pick above all the others, if I was just about to pick one, if I was going to pick one, just pick one off Moving Pictures. If I was going to pick one, if I was going to pick one off Moving Pictures, just one. If I was take the album Moving Pictures, where they're all amazing, and you were to force me to go, which one are you going to pick? Which one out of all the tunes on Moving Pictures are you going to pick? Which one out of all of them? Is it going to be Tom Sawyer? Is it going to be Red Barchetta? Is it going to be YYZ? Is it going to be Limelight? Is it going to be Camera Eye? Is it going to be Witch Hunt? Is it going to be Vital Signs? Which one were you going to pick? If I was forced to pick one, if someone put a gun to my head and I was forced to pick out of all those tunes, if I was forced to pick out of those tunes, which was the best one out of those tunes I just listed? Tom Sawyer, Red Barchetta, YYZ, Witch Hunt, Camera Eye, Witch Hunt, Camera Eye, Witch Hunt, Camera Eye, Red Barchetta, Tom Sawyer, YYZ, Vital Signs, Witch Hunt, Red Barchetta, Tom Sawyer, YYZ, Tom Sawyer, Red Barchetta. If I took any of these, and here I am, I'm saying them all one after the other. I'm saying Tom Sawyer, then I'll follow it up with, sometimes in order, I might do the next one, Red Barchetta, YYZ, or YYZ, Red Barchetta. I can't remember this. Also brilliant. Then you got Camera Eye. But if you were to put a gun to my head, and say, Andy, which one's the best one? You have to pick the best one. Out of all the tunes on Moving Pictures by Rush, it would have to be one of those tunes which I would be choosing at that time, and it would be, out of those tunes I'm choosing, it would be the one that I think is the best. So the best one on Moving Pictures is the one that I think is the best, where I've gone through all of the tunes on that and said, even though they're all the best, I have to pick one that's the best. And in that regard, the best one I think on Moving Pictures is the one that is the best out of the one I'm going to choose. So I'm going to choose for you, out of the best ones on Moving Pictures, the very best one out of the best ones is most likely the one I'm going to choose, which is the best one. And the best one on Moving Pictures is possibly the one that is the best. It's the best one of all the ones on Moving Pictures, because Moving Pictures, they're all like the best ones. You've got, Tom Sawyer, you've got Red Barchetta YYZ, you've got Limelight, you've got Camerai, you've got Witch Hunt, you've got Vital Signs, Witch Hunt, Camerai, you've got Tom Sawyer, you've got Red Barchetta, you've got Vital Signs, you've got YYZ, you've got Limelight, you've got Tom Sawyer, you've got Red Barchetta, you've got YYZ, you've got Red Barchetta, you've got all these ones. You go around them in a circle. Sometimes you go in a circle, sometimes you go forward. You can go backwards when you go like Vital Signs and you go Witch Hunt. Then you would go like Camerai, then Limelight, then Red Barchetta, then YYZ, then Tom Sawyer, then back forwards again, going back and forth through all of them one after the other. You could play the album backwards, it would sound weird, but then if you recorded it and then reversed it, it would be back to where it is, because we're going around in a circle. There's a circle here, a circle of brilliance, where we've been asked by the people who've got the gun to the head. They are saying, Andy, could you choose out of those tunes on Moving Pictures, which one's your favourite one? Oh, I will choose one for you, but the thing is, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for me to do, because really, out of all the tunes on Moving Pictures, if I were to pick the best one out of all these, the one that I would pick as being the best, would be the one that I think that would... Bloody hell, what's that? Hang on. Sorry, I know I'm taking time to get to... I'm taking a little bit of time to get to the point. Sorry, I'll get this. Hang on. I do apologise. I'm just going to get this. Sorry, yes. There we go. Hello? Yeah. It's Geddy Lee. Hello, Geddy. This is amazing. I know. Really? No. And then what did you do? But you managed to kill it, didn't you? Did you strangle it? Because they're dangerous, aren't they? If you got one of those if you got one of those in the bathroom, yeah. Was Alex there? He didn't do anything. Well, he's there now. Can I say hello to him? Yeah, go and get him. Oh, this is pretty amazing. It's Alex Lives again. Hello, Alex. This is Andy Edwards. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've been doing the best songs off all your albums. Yeah. Can Geddy hear? Yeah, he's gone upstairs. Oh, they're both on now. This is a bit. Is Anika there? What's she doing? She's upstairs having a bath. Yeah. You leave her to that. Don't get her then. Not if she's having a bath. We don't want to get her out of the bath, do we? No. Well, we do a little bit, don't we? No, we don't. No. No, you leave it, Anika. You leave it. It's me that said it, wasn't you, Alex? Yeah. Yeah, you're very respectful in this regard. It is weird having a girl in the band, though, isn't it? Yeah, I've been in bands with girls. It is really strange. Yeah. Yeah, they shouldn't really be. What did you pick her for? Yeah, I suppose so. That's interesting. Anyway, yeah, I've got a bit of a conundrum here, because I got to the end of my video, and I was like, got to Moving Pictures, and I love that album so much. Yeah, I love it so much, and I was trying to pick the best one. So, Alex, which one do you think's the best one on that? Really? Is that your favourite one? Yeah. Oh, the guitar solo's good on it. It's amazing. Yeah, it really is good, yeah. Yeah, got some good riffing on there. It really is like, yeah, it's one of the best tracks you've ever done. Yeah, one of the classics, yeah. What about you, Geddy? What do you like? No way. Really? I wouldn't have expected that one. Do you know what Neil liked his favourite one was? No. What about Annika? What does she like? Yeah. Well, I'd like to know what she likes. Yeah. They take the phone upstairs. Yeah, but mate, don't be peeking when you put the phone through the door. I can't see her. I'm on like a bloody 70s phone now. I won't be able to see anything. Yeah. I'd like to know which one she likes best. going to talk to Annika. She's having a bath at the moment. Yeah, Alex. Yeah, you should take that phone upstairs. Yeah. He's knocking the door. That's what he said. She's moaning a little bit, so she doesn't really want to talk to me. She said she'll feel a bit strange if she chats to me in the bath. That's understandable. Yeah, Alex, don't bother her. Don't bother her. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, I can do that. Hello, Annika! Hello, are you okay? I can't really hear her. I can hear something in the back. I can hear a bit of sploshing in the background. It's a lot of sploshing. A lot of sploshing. What, she's in the bath with the keyboard player. Yeah, I'd watch that if I were you chaps. Yeah, it's given me some ideas. Which is my favourite one? What's my favourite one on Moving Pictures? The favourite track. Well, the thing is that when I think of Moving Pictures, you've got like Tom Sawyer, then YYZ, then you got Red Barchetta, then you've got like Limelight, yeah. Then you've got Camera Eye, yeah, long one. Then you got Witch Hunt. Fire Frightens Me, that one, yeah, yeah. And then you got Vital Signs. Yeah, I think he did a good job there with the reggae bits, yeah, yeah. So out of all of those, if I was to take Tom Sawyer, if I was to take, Red Barchetta, YYZ, if I was to take Limelight, if I was to take, I don't know, Camera Eye, if I was to go through all of those, say, which is the best? So I'm asking myself now, which is the best one out of those tunes? So out of those tunes, which would the best one be? Because there has to be a best one. So out of those tunes, which would the best one be? If we were choosing off Tom Sawyer, which are the best tunes? If we had to choose off Tom Sawyer, which the best tunes were, which one would I choose as the best off Tom Sawyer? If I was to be choosing one of the if I was going to choose off Tom Sawyer the best ones, which one would be the one I'd choose? I would be choosing off Tom Sawyer the one that I think's the best, and then I would be putting that forth as being what I think is the best one out of all those ones that are on Tom Sawyer. If you were to choose the best ones, what? Oi, Alex, Geddy. Alex, bloody hung up. Never had anyone hang up on me before. It's a bit annoying, isn't it? I don't know why they hung up for me. Put that there. It's all right, isn't it? Now it's all okay. So where was I? No, I didn't know. Nice for them to call though. But yeah, if I was to choose off Tom Sawyer, which is the best one, off that album, taking all the tracks and then saying to myself, which is the best one, Andy? And without doing all this like Stuart Lee type boring going on around the same thing I'm doing now, just to pad out the video to the last hour. You got 3 minutes to the hour. No, you can't. This is where you wind it up. It was funny for a little while, but now it's tedious. So now, if I was to say the best one on Moving Pictures is... someone at the bloody door. Hello? Yeah, I'm really just need to make a decision here, mate. I can hear it from the room next door, and it's not a good thing. You really need to do something here with this, don't you? Well, I know, but it's like, it's like, I can't really decide which one to put it in. But I've got a bit of a trap now. I've done all this. I can't see. I can't. Now I've got it in here, mate. Yeah, I appreciate it, I suppose. I appreciate what you give me. It's a bit... I don't know. All right, then. Well, I've seen it helps. Yeah, my then. Yeah, my mate. Bloody hell, I've had a package. Well, I don't even know it's a package. The bloke next door got very fed up with me. He got very fed up with me not being able to make a decision. And so he said maybe this would help. I don't know where. I don't want to grip you. I need to know. I mean, maybe this is what he means. I need to know what the best tune off Moving Pictures is by Rush. I can't make a decision. I really.
We were lean on money, rich in time. Borrowed your dad's old car, drove till the road ran dry. Paper rings, big plans, laughing at the warning signs. We said forever and meant it like a battle cry. You're still that girl, sunburned nose, kicking off your shoes in the gravel.